Hey guys, this is Jonathan. Some of you may have heard of me as the IELTS teacher that's helped many IELTS students in Singapore pass their IELTS exam. In this video, I'm going to share with you a bit more about what I teach in my classes and also show you some materials. And if you stay to the end, I'm also going to give this to all who stay to the end. I'll tell you how to get this later. This is 14 pages of IELTS writing samples. In my classes, I teach my students how to write the 7 different types of IELTS writing task 2 questions, and so there are 7 different IELTS writing task 2 essays here. And also there are 4 different types of academic task 1 task here, and 3 different types of general training task 1 letters here. So stay to the end and you will find out how you can actually get this free set of 14 pages of IELTS writing samples for free. All right, now I'm going to go to my presentation. I'm going to share with you a bit more about what you can expect in my classes so that you can make a decision as to whether you want to take my classes or not.
But before I start, I want to share with you a secret statistic that will change the way you think about the IELTS exam. This hardly known statistic is taken from the IELTS 2002 handbook. It says that individuals can take up to 200 hours to improve by 1 IELTS band. Now, why is this important to know? It's important because most students think it's easy to get their target score and they don't put much effort into preparing for the exam. They think they can read a bit of stuff online and do some practice tests and they're ready for the exam. Wrong. Based on my 5+ years of specializing in IELTS preparation, I would say that the majority of students take the exam more than once before they pass. Why? Because they were not prepared the first time. In fact, many students take it more than 5 times. Some even take it more than 10 times. Yes, I'm not kidding you. Take one of my former students, Marwandi. He tried to prepare by himself by going to 3 other schools but failed to get his desired 7.0 in his writing even after 15 tries over 2 years. He finally came to my class and on his 16th attempt, he finally got that coveted 7.0 for writing. Winston needed to get 8.0 for his writing and failed 8 times immediately after attending my classes. He finally got his 8.0 on his 9th try. There are other stories like those from Joyce, another Joyce, and Martin. These students tried to prepare by themselves and failed between 4 and 7 times before finally deciding to take proper preparation classes. They came to my classes and after that they finally passed on their next try. All these students wasted between half a year and 2 years of their time. And they wasted between 1,500 and 5,000 Singapore dollars of their hard-earned money. The IELTS organizations are probably happy that so many students take the exam more than once. After all, each test costs around $350. It is not cheap at all. But what is even worse is taking the exam many times and wasting a whole lot of money and time. Friends, please take your IELTS preparation seriously. Don't take the exam without proper preparation and don't take the exam if you're not ready. If not, you could waste a lot of time and money. Now, if you stop watching this video here, please take away from what I've said so far the fact that you need to take your IELTS preparation seriously if you don't want to waste a lot of time and money. I hope you do watch on as right now, I'm going to share with you what I can offer you as your IELTS teacher. Let me first start by telling you a bit more about myself. I've been teaching English for more than 10 years and IELTS for more than 5 years. I've taught English in Australia, China, Colombia, which is in South America, and Singapore since 2003. I have a University of Cambridge CELTA, which is the most prestigious English teaching certificate in the world, and I've also completed about half of my master's degree in English teaching. In Singapore, I've taught English and IELTS for many years in various private schools and language schools, and of course in 2015, I started my own little school called IELTS University, which is the only school in Singapore that focuses only on IELTS preparation and which has become known as one of the best IELTS schools in Singapore. I believe a teacher or a school is only as good as the results he or she produces. That's why on my website, I have over 160 testimonials of students who have got the IELTS results they wanted because of my teaching. If you want to read all my student testimonials, you can go to www.ieltsuniversity.com/testimonials. In June 2017 alone, I received 8 testimonials from students who passed their IELTS exam. I've also received tons of positive feedback from students like these. If you want to read what other students have thought about the class, you can go to www.ieltsuniversity.com/class-feedback. Let me be honest with you. There's nothing magical about my teaching. But I believe my teaching and my materials are some of the best in the world, and you're going to see some of my materials soon. You see, I've specialized in teaching IELTS for over 5 years. I'm not just an English teacher. I determined years ago to focus only on teaching IELTS. Ever heard of the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none? It means that a person can do pretty okay in all areas, but he or she isn't very good in any particular area. Well, I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to specialize in one area because I believe that by specializing, I can help my students do better. So I decided to focus all my energy on preparing students for the IELTS exam. I got all the IELTS books on the market. I listened to and read what good English and IELTS teachers said. To be honest, I didn't like most of what I read. So I had to create my own teaching materials and notes, especially for the IELTS writing and speaking components. Years ago, while teaching IELTS in schools, I also started to teach many IELTS students one-to-one. This helped me to become a better teacher, because when you teach a student one-to-one, you learn a lot about their mistakes and you learn how to help them. And as I did this, I started to create better IELTS materials and kept on refining them to make them even better. Even nowadays, I'm still making changes to my materials. And many of my students have said that my IELTS materials are the best they've seen. For example, one student wrote, I have learned a lot of new things that I haven't seen on the internet or any other IELTS classes. Another one wrote, the materials provided are very detailed where I don't find in any other schools. This person said, thank you, Jonathan, your writing techniques are the best. Make no mistake, when you attend my classes, you will get very unique and detailed materials and notes that you'll never find anywhere else because most of them, especially the writing and speaking materials, have been created by me. They will definitely challenge you and help you. I can't promise that you get your desired score if you attend my classes, but I can promise that you improve if you attend my classes, use my notes, apply my strategies, and put in your hard work. So let's get to the materials that I give to you in my IELTS classes. Firstly, this is my essay structure system, which you will get in my class. This contains my master plan to writing the Task 2 essay, created from over 5 years of teaching IELTS. So through this system, I teach you how to write a 4 or 5 paragraph essay and when you need to use them. I go in depth into how to write your introduction paragraph, your body paragraphs, and your conclusion paragraph. I teach you how to paraphrase using my swag formula. And I have my own special method called GSM method of writing the thesis statement in the introduction paragraph and the summary in the conclusion paragraph. I talk about how to write your sentences with your main point and how to write your supporting sentences. I share my FTI-REAR technique, which makes it easy for you to know what to write for your supporting sentences. I give you a list of the best cohesive devices and what I call PRV, also known as power result verbs, which I encourage students to use in their essays. I also give you a timing formula to keep to for each section of the essay and teach you the best way to practice writing essays. You also get a list of over 300 essay questions that have come out since 2015. I have probably the largest and best compilation of IELTS essay questions in the world for 2015, 2016, and 2017. I use this list to analyze the IELTS questions and produce materials for my students. Let's look at another detailed worksheet I give you. Through analyzing all these essay questions, I've come up with the 7 main categories of IELTS essay questions. Through this worksheet, I teach my students the 7 different types of essay questions. I go into a lot of detail, and my students love this because they didn't know there were so many types of IELTS essays before attending my class. Next is probably the most valuable part of my notes, my essay templates. Don't get me wrong, what I've mentioned before is great. You probably won't find such detailed notes on writing the IELTS essay anywhere else. But this part is what I've spent literally hundreds of hours creating and refining, and I've changed it so many times over the years. I'm extremely proud of what I've produced, and this is by far the best part of my notes, as so many students have told me that it has helped them tremendously. What you see is just 2 pages of the detailed notes. I have 18 pages in all. What are these templates? To put simply, they are frameworks of essays that contain a lot of sentences and phrases that are error-free and full of high-scoring vocabulary and grammar structures. These frameworks provide organization for your essay. When you use these templates, a portion of your essay is done for you. You just need to fill in the blanks. This is not about memorizing the whole essay, that won't work. But these templates will definitely help you to improve your IELTS writing score. Let me share with you what some students have written about my essay templates. Ronalyn passed the exam in May. She wrote that the writing techniques I taught her were very effective. She was able to reach a minimum 250 words without much difficulty and surprisingly faster than she had expected. With an essay template, writing an essay becomes easier. Emily said she wanted to walk out of the exam hall after doing badly in her reading, but she decided to stay and followed my essay template, and she was so glad she stayed. She passed her writing after failing it once before attending my class. Arnab improved from 6.0 to 7.0 in writing. He said it was all because of the structured method, that is, the essay template, and he said the method was perfect. Ali passed his IELTS and said my writing method is unique. He was referring to my essay template. Hugh passed his exam. He said he didn't have much time to practice but just repeated the structures, the template, over and over again until he learned it by heart. Then he said that during the exam he felt like he was just filling in the blanks with his ideas and points. That's how an essay template helps. It makes writing an essay so much easier. Mutu wrote his essay in the format I taught him using my essay template and managed to get 7.0 for writing. As these students have written, the essay template I taught them played a huge part in their IELTS writing success. But wait, there's more. I teach you the 12 most common IELTS vocabulary and grammar mistakes, and I give you various engaging activities to work on to improve in these areas. I teach you higher level vocabulary strategies like understanding collocations and word patterns, something that very few teachers teach their IELTS students and hardly any teach it the way I do. I know this because I developed a lot of these strategies myself. As a result of teaching hundreds of IELTS students one-to-one and trying to find a method that works. Many students have told me how much they've learned when I've taught them collocations and word patterns. Some say that they've never understood the English language in this way, and because of what I've taught them, they've started to understand English better. For those taking the academic IELTS exam, I go through the 4 different types of academic IELTS Task 1 task: graphs with a time period, graphs without a time period, process, and maps. I teach you how to write each one of them and also give you a list of phrases and vocabulary to use. And for those taking general training IELTS, I cover the 3 different types of letter writing for writing task 1. That's not the end for writing. There's one other component of writing that you're going to love, one of the most popular aspects of my writing classes. This is it. Every student also gets 2 writing correction videos of up to 10 minutes each going through their writing homework. One of my partners, who is an ex-IELTS examiner, that is, she used to grade IELTS writing for years, will go through your writing on a recorded video and correct your grammar and vocabulary mistakes and give you an IELTS band score. So students submit their writing online and get a video back with the ex-IELTS examiner's corrections and a grade. You can even view your classmates' video correction and therefore learn from their mistakes too. Many students have told me that they've never experienced such detailed error correction before. Yet this is what's needed to really improve your writing. This kind of detailed writing correction, by the way, is something that you will not get in other schools because there's no time for that. But I make sure that every student has the best chance to improve in their writing through this detailed error correction of their essays. This is so much better than getting your paper back with red ink and written explanations you don't understand. With these video corrections, it's just like your teacher sitting right beside you and correcting your mistakes. It's even better than that because it's recorded on video and you can go through it over and over again if you don't understand it the first time round. Please don't underestimate the importance of correcting your grammar mistakes. For example, one of my students wrote, "Finally, I passed. Grammar is important. Before that, I just wrote whatever I think is right. Now I know it's not correct. That's why I scored low all the time." All of what I mentioned before is only what I cover in the writing section. And that's a lot already. That's a total of over 100 pages in all. Yes, I'm not kidding you. More than 100 pages of detailed writing, grammar, and vocabulary notes, worksheets, and activities. Here's what else you'll be getting. For reading, I'll go through every kind of question you get. There are about 9 of them in total. I teach you the skills needed to address all the questions, and I also spend a bit more time on the more difficult types like the matching headings and true, false, not given, yes, no, not given questions. I set a lot of reading homework and we go through the answers so you'll know better how to answer the various questions. I also teach you a method of improving in your reading that has helped many students finally improve their reading score. Note, this will require hard work. I do the same for listening. Here's what one student wrote about my reading class. He wrote, "Reading is a very challenging part, and I improved a lot by following a few strategies which are mentioned in the notes." Another one wrote, "Thank you so much for today's lesson. Honestly, I'm getting the whole thing so clear, and I'm really glad that I managed to get hold of the strategy you taught." For speaking, I prepare you for all the 3 parts of speaking. I share my special strategies on how to tackle all parts, especially part 2, which many students are very afraid of. This is the part where students have to speak for up to 2 minutes non-stop about a topic. I share my CAMS, PPF, DFS, and PAF methods to preparing a good Part 2 speech. I also teach my students one important area they need to work on in order to get 7.0 and above. Normally, more than 90% of students who attend my class are surprised when I tell them they need to do this. Finally, for all 4 components, I provide you practice papers so you can do more practice if you require. And I give you homework each week and go through the answers so you are prepared for the exam. In total, I give you more than 200 pages of notes and materials over the 4 weeks. Writing notes consist of 100 plus pages, reading about 60 plus pages, listening and speaking about 60 plus pages. Yes, I'm not joking. What you're getting are materials from a teacher with more than 5 years of intense IELTS teaching experience. Some schools spend most of their time just going through an IELTS test with you. I don't just do that. I'm going to be teaching you in a way that you've never experienced before. You will be getting all my strategies and notes that have taken me hundreds of hours to think through and create and refine. And you'll be getting correction of your writing, which probably no school does the same way as I do. That's the reason why so many of my students have benefited from my teaching. That's why I have so many student testimonials. No, not everyone will get the score they desire after going through my classes, but I promise you that you receive some of the very best IELTS preparation you can get in the entire world. That I can guarantee. If you combine my teaching with your hard work, then you can improve in your IELTS score and get the score you desire. Don't believe me? These are just some of the people who have gone on to immigrate to or study in the country of their dreams after my classes. For example, Mahendra wrote, "Jonathan, again, just wanted to thank you for all your help earlier in the year. My wife and I are back in the UK and closer to our children. Thanks again." Another student wrote, "Thank you very much. I will resume my immigration process by tomorrow. I got 8 on speaking." This one wrote, "I plan to further my studies in the Netherlands. Maybe we'll leave Singapore in the end of June. Thank you so much, Jonathan." And this, Good morning, Jonathan. I'm already planning to move to Australia now. Thank you for guiding me for my IELTS exam to get average 8.5. My PR was granted within 3 months. Finally, this one wrote, Hi Jonathan, I hope you still remember me. I would like to share with you the good news that I got Australian PR last week. Thank you so much for your help. It really makes me happy to see my students finally fulfill their dreams to go overseas. This is one of the reasons I'm teaching IELTS, to help you all fulfill your dreams. Once you've gone through my classes, I believe you realize how valuable my training is. And you'll be recommending my classes to your friends like these people. This student wrote, I got way more than what I need, and I thank you for everything. I will try and pass your number to others who will take the exam. This one said, Thanks, my migration agent in KL asked for your contact as one of his clients from JB wants some help in IELTS. Hope it's okay with you. Yes, I'm even being recommended by agents from all the way in KL in Malaysia. And this student said, You make English to be more interesting to learn. Very good teaching. I'm sure that I will recommend you to my friends if they need IELTS tuition. For all the value I've shown you, I could charge a lot more than I'm charging now. If you do your research, most schools in Singapore charge around $30 to $40 per hour per student, and they don't give as much value as I give you. The cost of my classes per hour is less than $15. Why? I can charge so low simply because I'm working for myself, not working for a school. I don't have high fixed costs or rentals to pay for. I only rent my classrooms on the weekends when I teach. As you know, rental in Singapore is very expensive. So if you go to a big school, most of your school fees is going to pay for the rental of the school property. Renting only on the weekends is cheap, and that's why my fees are probably the cheapest in Singapore. Furthermore, I don't have to pay for a teacher. I am the teacher. That's why I can charge you so low. So I hope you understand better now what I'm offering you in my classes. Beyond the quality of my teaching and the affordable cost of my classes, I also have a very flexible class schedule that will cater to almost all students and working adults. Firstly, I have 4 different slots you can choose from every weekend. These are the timings: Saturday 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. In all of these 4 slots, I teach the exact same thing. You just have to choose one of the slots, and you can change slots from week to week. That means if you start on the Saturday 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., but the following week you can only make it on Sunday 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., I allow this. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for students to attend the class. To finish the course, you need to take 4 classes over 4 consecutive weekends. Now, I know some students can't always come for 4 consecutive weekends because of their work. So secondly, students get free makeup classes. If you can't make it one week, you can make up that class when it repeats itself 4 weeks from the missed class. Thirdly, you can start any weekend. You just need to attend 4 classes over 4 different weekends to complete the whole course. And as I just mentioned, even if you miss one weekend, you can make up the missed class. So let me recap again what you're getting. 4 classes over 4 weekends, 16 hours in total, plus 20 hours of online videos, which is equivalent to a total of 36 hours. And the total cost is $500, which is less than $14 per hour. For the timing, you choose 1 slot per weekend: Saturday 1 to 5, Saturday 6 to 10, Sunday 1 to 5, or Sunday 6 to 10. And the location is at 144 Robinson Road, which is 5 minutes walk from Tanjong Pagar MRT or downtown MRT. You can call me now to find out more. Call Jonathan at 9768-1054. I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in my next batch of students.